The offseason has a different energy in Dallas this year, and you can feel it the moment you start looking at the roster through the cold lens of what wins championships versus what merely sells jerseys. For the Dallas Cowboys, this is no longer about tweaking around the edges. This is about structural change. This is about deciding whether the next era will be built on star power or on trench warfare. And right now, every sign points to the Cowboys preparing for a draft that could redefine the identity of this franchise from the inside out, starting with the defensive interior, the one area that has quietly undermined them in the biggest games. When you study playoff football across the league, the pattern is obvious. The teams still playing in late January dominate the line of scrimmage. Dallas has had elite edge rush in recent years, elite offensive skill talent, even stretches of elite quarterback play, but the middle of the defense has too often been a soft underbelly. That's why the possibility of targeting a first-round defensive tackle isn't just logical, it might be inevitable. Prospects like Peter Woods represent exactly the kind of tone-setter Dallas has lacked. A violent interior force who collapses the pocket and erases running lanes before they even form. His ability to convert raw power into disruption could change how offenses attack the Cowboys entirely, forcing quarterbacks to flee sideways into the waiting arms of edge rushers. But the decision isn't just about talent. It's about philosophy. Caleb Banks offers a different type of temptation, a towering interior presence with rare size that can anchor against double teams and still threaten the passer. The risk, of course, is durability. Drafting a player coming off major foot injuries is the kind of move that can either make a front office look visionary or reckless. For a team already facing scrutiny over recent draft outcomes, that calculation becomes even more delicate. Caden McDonald, Lee Hunter, and Kristen Miller each represent variations of the same theme: reliability over flash. These are players who stabilize a defense snap after snap, who don't necessarily produce highlight reels, but quietly make everyone around them better. And that's the real question facing Dallas. Do they chase star upside, or do they finally commit to building a defense that wins ugly? Because championship defenses are rarely glamorous. They are suffocating, methodical, and physically exhausting to play against. Now layer on the wildest storyline of the offseason, the possibility of trading George Pickens after a season that looked like the birth of a new superstar. 93 catches, over 1,400 yards, acrobatic sideline grabs that felt pulled from another era of Cowboys football. It was the kind of season that normally earns a long-term extension, not trade rumors. Yet the whispers persist, and they reveal something deeper about the franchise's current mindset. This front office is at least entertaining the idea that reallocating resources from offense to defense might be the fastest path back to contention. The proposed scenario involving the Las Vegas Raiders and a high second-round pick isn't just a trade idea. It's a philosophical pivot. Moving Pickens would signal that Dallas believes a balanced roster beats a top-heavy one, that depth across the defense matters more than having two dominant receivers. It would also place enormous pressure on CeeDee Lamb to carry the passing game as the unquestioned focal point, while forcing the front office to find a cheaper complementary option in free agency or the draft. And if you're a Cowboys fan watching this unfold, this is the moment to decide whether you trust the vision. Because if this front office gets it right, the team could emerge younger, faster, and far more dangerous defensively. If they get it wrong, they risk dismantling one of the league's most explosive offenses without fixing the defense enough to justify it. So if you live and breathe Cowboys football, now is the time to subscribe, stay locked in, and follow every move this team makes, because this offseason may determine the trajectory of the next decade. Complicating matters further is a free agency landscape that offers almost no help at one of Dallas's other glaring needs: cornerback. The available options are either aging veterans past their prime or younger players with inconsistent track records. That reality pushes the Cowboys toward addressing the secondary early in the draft as well, creating a scenario where both of their first-round picks could be defensive players. Imagine walking out of day one with a dominant interior lineman and a future shutdown corner. That's how you flip a defense from liability to strength overnight. Meanwhile, the franchise appears far more secure in other areas. The expectation that kicker Brandon Aubrey will remain in Dallas underscores how rare stability has been at that position since the departure of Dan Bailey. Special teams excellence doesn't grab headlines, but it wins close games, and Dallas finally has a weapon there they can trust in pressure moments. Ownership continues to frame everything through the lens of legacy. When Jerry Jones credits Michael Irvin for shaping the championship culture that made his Hall of Fame career possible, it isn't just nostalgia. It's a reminder that this organization still measures itself against the dynasty years. The message is clear: star players matter, but attitude and physical dominance matter more. That philosophy aligns perfectly with a draft strategy focused on defense and toughness. Even the trade rumors involving Max Crosby reveal how aggressively Dallas is exploring ways to upgrade its pass rush, though developments within the Raiders organization suggest that move may be slipping out of reach. If Crosby stays put, the draft becomes even more critical as the primary avenue for defensive improvement. On the offensive line, another difficult decision looms. Moving on from Terrence Steele would mark the end of one of the franchise's most inspiring development stories, but the salary cap forces hard choices. Dallas has invested heavily in the line already, and reallocating those resources could allow them to strengthen weaker areas. The emergence of younger, cheaper options makes this not just a financial decision, but a strategic one about how to protect Dak Prescott while maintaining roster flexibility. Draft history offers both encouragement and caution. The Cowboys have landed franchise pillars in the first round before, from Lamb to Parsons to elite offensive linemen. But recent misses serve as a reminder that reputation doesn't guarantee future success. With multiple first-round picks and limited selections afterward, the margin for error is razor thin. This is a draft where Dallas must not only hit, they must hit big. The pre-draft process itself will also play a crucial role. Events like the NFL Combine and the team's unique Dallas Days visits give the front office opportunities to uncover hidden gems, especially among local prospects who might fit the culture and expectations of playing in North Texas. Some of the franchise's most memorable contributors began as under-the-radar visits before becoming key pieces of winning teams. Looking ahead to the season, the schedule presents its own challenges, including matchups against teams led by new head coaches such as John Harbaugh and Robert Saleh. Facing unfamiliar schemes early in a season can expose weaknesses or accelerate growth, depending on how prepared a team is. For Dallas, it will be an early test of whether this off-season transformation produced a tougher, more adaptable roster. All of this circles back to one unavoidable truth. The Cowboys are at a crossroads between spectacle and substance. They can remain a team built around highlight plays and offensive fireworks, or they can evolve into a balanced contender capable of winning defensive slugfests in January. The decisions made over the next few months will echo for years. So if you want to witness whether this franchise finally builds a championship foundation or repeats the cycle of promise and disappointment, make sure you're here for every twist, every pick, and every bold move, because the story of the Cowboys' next era is being written right now.